Sidney was in the slot with two different units. Is that kind of where he's going to be, and is he a good fit for that?
I mean, you guys heard me in the spring. I mean, those guys are going to keep going through there. I mean, Sidney played in there, Boz played in there, Avante got in there. I would have liked to get DJ in there just the way that the game ended up there at the end because we were down. They didn't really play any nickel, so he didn't get in there. But I'm going to keep rolling him. I liked what Sidney did last night. Good step. I mean, for actually playing it live in a game. He's been doing a good job out here in practice. It's it's not an easy spot to just jump in and play. There's a lot of things that go on in there. I thought Jim did a great job with just the way he called the game, so it allowed those guys just to go out there and play fast. But we got a long way to go. I still don't know who's going to line up in there. I don't think we'll know until we play Atlanta the first week.
Why is he a good fit for that? What does he bring to that?
Physical, you saw that last night. That was probably the first thing that I was like, all right, good. I mean, to see him go in there and throw his body around there. He missed a couple tags. He missed the first opportunity he had to get that guy on the ground. He kind of went in there, but I love the tempo and the effort that he went in there with. We'll clean up that tackling stuff. Obviously, the more reps you get at that, it'll help him. Smart. Obviously, he's not a rookie because he obviously was here all last year. But you got to be able to process, and you got to process fast in there. And I think he's more than capable of doing that. So I think he's a great option for us. And again, I'm not putting him in there yet. We still got 3 games to go. We got a lot of practice to go, not just the games, but practice. And we'll see how that shakes out by the time we end up with the preseason. So good start for him, though.
Just in general, how much more difficult is it to play inside for a younger player versus outside?
Well, I would say it would start first of all. Did they play in there in college? If you hadn't. It can be an adjustment. It's just completely different than playing on the outside. Things are happening. You're not just looking at, you play corner out there, and I'm not saying corner's easy because it's not. I think it's the hardest spot to play in the grass, but depending on the call, there's so much stuff that can go on there. You got to show up and play the run game. You're the outside linebacker. Will goes out, the nickel goes in. Even though the letters change on who it is, your run responsibility is the same. So you got to be able to play the run. You got to stay inside blocks. You got to know where you got to fit. And then obviously when you're on the outside, you've really got one guy. If your guy disappears, then you go to the next. Well, when you play nickel, you got to see all 3 of them. The slot, the tight end, if it's 3-by-1, you got to see the back on the snap, and then what happens to 2? 2 goes out. Then where's 3? 3 goes in. Where's the back? I mean, it happens fast. It takes some work, and like I said, I'm happy with all those guys the way they're progressing right now.
Is Jalen a candidate for that nickel?
Yeah, I mean, you guys have heard me say this all the time. For me, for all of us, I think, there's no substitute for experience at any position, especially at that one. And Jalen's played in there, obviously played in there for 2 years for us. So, I mean, I feel confident. I mean, I wouldn't do that to him. Obviously, if he would end up going in there, then we'd get him more reps in there. He's already been in there twice in training camp. He was in there in OTAs. But right now it's valuable for us to get the guys that haven't been in there the most experience we can, so we can make a great educated decision when we're done with the preseason.
So you kind of already have a pretty good idea of what Jalen can do with that position?
Yeah, yes, yeah, yep.
Seems like is he kind of a tempo center in terms of the way he embraces the film work and all that?
Jalen Mills?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that guy is, he's been that since the day we got him. I mean, he was like that before we got him, I would say. That's why we loved him so much. That's why I liked being around the guy when we went down to LSU and worked him out. The guy's all ball all the time. He gets it. He's still got stuff to learn, and I think obviously the more he plays in this league, he's going to just continue to get better. But it's nonstop. Tape, obviously you guys watch him working individual. The guy's nonstop. He's got one goal, and that's to get better. And obviously he's been doing that since he's been here, and I would not expect that to change going forward. Just the way the guy's wired. Special player.
Were you pleased in general overall with the way your guys played the second half?
Yeah, I mean, obviously really happy with the way that the ones went out. And when I say that, obviously Jalen and Darby and Rodney and Jank, I think they played 6 clean plays. It was 6 plays. And then when those guys came out, obviously quick change over there. We got those guys out after 2 3-and-outs. And then obviously there was some good stuff with the rest of them. Sidney being, obviously Sidney's not part of that group yet, but he ended up playing a little bit more nickel. Wanted to play some corner, he ended up getting dinged there, so he had to leave the game. But there was some good stuff. I mean, when you give up 31, it's obviously not very good. But that's the evaluation process right now. So we got to learn from that. Not obviously happy about it. The players aren't either. But we got to put the tape on tomorrow when they get back in here, watch it, and then we'll correct it, and we'll go back out there and keep grinding. We got a long way to go still. So
the one corner you haven't rolled through the slot much has been Rasul.
Yeah.
Would you prefer he just learn the outside?
Yeah, I mean, I like Rasul for his length on the outside. He's really comfortable out there. Obviously, he played for a bunch for us last year. Would have liked to have seen him make, obviously, both of those plays that he got last night. The first one, he was in great shape. Just kind of misjudged it, and then he ended up, kind of with a little contact, both of them kind of hitting each other, he ends up going down. It's the same play he picked off against the Giants last year, same play. And then he just ended up drifting a little bit too wide on that second one. He thought he was going to go underneath that guy, but so some stuff to clean up for him. But I like him on the outside. He's done a good job. He's got a lot of experience out there for us so far, so we'll keep him out there right now. And again, I think I said this in the spring, he could show up in there. Something depends on what the formation of the call is. He could end up in there, and then he knows how to get lined up if he ends up in there, what his leverage is. So I'm good with him right there.
Is there a possibility you could look at him at some point at safety also?
Rasul?
Yeah.
I'd have to, something bad would have to happen for that. Obviously, Rod and those guys are back there. I don't see that. I mean, that's not ultimately my call either, but right now I don't see that happening.
What stood out about Darby to you so far this offseason?
Yeah, Dar's been great. I think, the way that he came in last year, started training camp, didn't know anybody, didn't know me, didn't know anybody. Every organization does stuff different. I mean, we're pretty demanding here. I'm pretty demanding. So it took a little while for him to get in this groove. And then when you get hurt 16 plays into the first game and then you're not out there again. So I think by the time we got through the Super Bowl and we were done with that game, I think he was like, all right, I'm feeling comfortable here. And then you go through the whole offseason, I think he was a completely different, just mindset, everything, way more comfortable. Kind of found his groove in the group, not so much on the field. I'm just talking about with those guys in the locker room, and not just the DBs, the whole thing. So I've really liked him all through OTAs, and I've liked him so far through training camp. So, and he had a clean game. I mean, that first run came through there. He triggered really fast, ended up in the C gap there, and then didn't really get another ball there. So not much from last night, but I really like where he's at.